Welcome back, students. Today we will learn about the control and coordination. This chapter is basically divided into two parts, nervous system and endocrine system, and we will learn how it control and coordinates the systems, the organs. So, introduction to control and coordination. We all know that the organism, move in response to various kinds of stimuli, right? Like light, heat, cold, temperature, nutrient, food, etc. But all this activity in animals are controlled and coordinated by nervous and endocrine system. Whereas in case of plants, it is controlled only by the endocrine system, that not endocrine system, that means the by the chemicals which are released from the by the plants. Hormones are the chemical messengers which are secreted by an endocrine gland. Endocrine glands are the ductless gland which secrete their secretion directly onto the blood to act on the specific target organs. So hormones in plants helps in coordinating the movements, whereas in case of animals both the nervous system and endocrine system helps in control and coordination. Now let us take an example that all living organism respond or react to various stimuli, right? Like heat, light, cold, touch, pressure, etc. You must have witnessed this observation that if your hand is in front of the candle or a hot iron, the instant reaction which you do is that you withdraw your hand. Why? Because it is your natural reflex. So the burning candle or the hot iron, this act as a stimuli. This act as a stimuli. As a result, which you respond, you withdraw your hand. As a result, you respond and you withdraw your hand. So, what is stimuli? Stimuli is an agent due to which you respond. Stimuli is an agent due to which you respond. If the batsman hit the ball and the fielder or the bowler wanted to catch, so that is her reflex. So what is the stimuli over here? That ball. So in that reflex, he is trying to catch the ball. That is his response. So the response which a living being makes in relation to external stimuli is called control and coordination. So this response which we make against the stimuli, this is known as control and coordination. It is the nervous system which is mainly responsible for control and coordination in complex animals. We know that in the animals, all the systems are very complex, and it is generally the nervous system which is responsible for control and coordination. Now, nervous system is composed of brain, spinal cord and nerves. Okay, and the sense organs, brain, spinal cord, nerves and the sense organ. Like how in the circulatory system, heart, blood and blood vessels make up the circulatory system. Similarly, in the nervous system, brain, spinal cord and nerves and the five sense organ even, they makes up the nervous system. Now what are the functions of the nervous system? They receive the information from environment by the sense organ, then they transport the message or impulse from the brain to the spinal cord and nerves, or from the brain to the spinal cord to the body parts, or from body parts to the brain and spinal cord, vice versa. After analyzing the information, it reacts accordingly through muscle and glands. After analyzing the information, the impulse, the body responds. Okay, as I told you that when we touch a hot object, our skin helps us to sense that heat, and this heat is a stimuli for us. As a result, the stimuli, our sense organ sends an impulse to the brain or through spinal cord, and then reaches to the brain, and then again from the impulse carries from the brain or spinal cord to the body parts. As a result, we respond and the muscle contract and we take off the hand, we withdraw our hand. Now, as I told you, when this stimuli, where it acts, where it receives the signal, those group of cells are known as receptors. those group of cells are known as receptors. Receptors are group of cells present in sense organ. These are very sensitive to change in environment. Now there are generally 5 types of receptors: gustatory receptor, phonoreceptor, olfactory receptor, photoreceptor, and thermoreceptor. Now gustatory receptor, these are responsible for taste detection, whether it tastes sweet, salt, sour, or bitter. Now phonoreceptors. Phono you can connect with the phone. That means it is responsible for hearing. It is responsible for hearing. Olfactory receptor. These are responsible for smell detection. It detects the smell, that whether the smell is soft or harsh. Now photoreceptor, with the word photo only you can understand that it is related to light. So it is responsible for detecting light. Thermoreceptors, it is responsible for feeling of touch or external stimuli. Thermo is related to touch or external stimuli. Now neuron. Neurons are the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Like the cell is the structural and functional unit of living being, similarly neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Dear students, please don't get confused in the neuron and nephron. Nephron was the structural and functional unit of the excretory system, whereas neuron is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. These neurons, they get accumulated, they combine to form the nerves of the nervous system. They combine to form the nerves of the nervous system. So these nerves emerge from brain and spinal cord. The nerves which emerge from brain are known as spinal nerves, and the nerves which emerge from spinal cord are known as spinal nerve. The brain, again I am repeating, the nerves which are emerged from the brain are known as cranium nerve, cranial nerve, cranial, cranial nerve, and the nerves which emerge from the spinal cord are known as spinal nerve. So this is the structure of a neuron. You can see this part, this is known as cyton. This is known as cyton, and the other name of cyton is perikaryon. This long stem-like structure is known as axon, and these are the axon endings. Cyton comprises of all the organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, everything. And this is dendron, and these branches are dendrite which receive this signal. This dendrite only receives this signal and relays the impulse through the axon and reaches to the axon terminal. It is, you can see the cover, these are myelin sheath. If the myelin sheath is absent, it is known as unmyelinated neuron. Okay, and if the myelin sheath is present, it is known as a myelinated neuron. And this gap, see, you can see this gap is known as node of Ranvier. Now the neuron consists of following parts: cell body, that is cyton, or we can also say perikaryon. The main part of the has all of the necessary component of the cell, like nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosome, mitochondria. If the cell body dies, the neuron dies, right? Now axon, as I told you, it is a long cable-like projection of the cell along the length of the cell. It ends in several hair-like structure, root-like structure, which we call axon terminal or axon endings. These axon terminals relay nerve impulse. Now dendrites, this small branch-like projection of the cell, make connection to another neuron and receive the nerve impulse. As I told you, this dendrite only receive this signal from the stimuli. So from here only the impulse, from dendrite only they receive the impulse. Now what is synapse? Synapse, very important, that the point of contact between the terminal branches of axon of one neuron with the dendrite of another neuron is called synapse. I am repeating myself. The point of contact between with the help of diagram I can show you. The point of contact between the terminal ending of axon terminal of one neuron with the dendrite of the another neuron, not the same neuron, another neuron. This is known as synapse. Now, how this neuron works? Neurons are responsible for transmitting message. It relays impulse from brain to body parts or body parts to brain, vice versa. So, when receptor sense anything, when it receives any signal, a chemical reaction is triggered. That time, a chemical reaction is triggered. Now, this chemical reaction causes an electrical impulse in dendrite. This chemical reaction only causes an electric impulse in dendrites. Now, when these impulse travels through the body of neuron to axon ending, then tiny amount of chemical is released. This is a neurotransmitter in synapse. This is known as a neurotransmitter. So acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter which impulse reaches there. Then this chemical crosses the synapse and reach to the tip of the another dendrite of the neuron. It reach to the tip of the dendrites of another neuron, where it again produces electrical impulse, and like this they relay the impulse along the neuron. Okay, and it's very important that acetylcholine is known. If they ask you name a neurotransmitter, it is an acetylcholine. Now, there are three types of neuron: sensory neuron, motor neuron, and relay neuron. Okay, sensory neuron. In this neuron, they transmit impulse or message from body parts to central nervous system. Right? That means from the receptor, the sensory neuron carries impulse from the receptor to the CNS. Motor neuron carries impulse from the CNS to the that affected body part, right? And relay neuron, where both the neurons are present, it relays the signal within the central nervous system. Nervous system is generally broadly it is divided into two parts: peripheral nervous system, central nervous system. Peripheral nervous system is composed of cranial nerves and spinal nerves and visceral nerves. Cranial nerve, spinal nerve, and visceral nerve. Cranial, as I told you, that the cranial nerves are those nerves which emerge from the brain, and these are 12. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerve. Spinal nerves come out of the spinal cord, and there are 31 pair. Okay, and the response which happened in this near the head region, it is due to the cranial nerve, and other than that it is due to the spinal nerve. Visceral, from the visceral, you can understand it is talking about the organs. So visceral nerve come out of the brain and spinal cord and go to the internal organs like heart, kidney, etc. Now, somatic nervous system. Somatic nervous system, it also forms a part of the PNS. PNS means peripheral nervous system. The nerves of PNS that controls all the voluntary actions. Now, what do you mean by the voluntary actions? Voluntary actions are the actions which are under our will. We can control that actions. That actions like reading, writing, speaking, running, kicking a ball, lifting an object, these are the voluntary actions. Now, let us read about autonomic nervous system. Now, all the nerves of the PNS that control the involuntary actions in the body form the autonomic nervous system. This forms the autonomic nervous system. Now, it is generally broadly divided into two parts: sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. Now, sympathetic nervous system. When your body is in an emergency situation, or when your body is prepared for fight or flight, that time the sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for the intense physical activity. Like when you are suddenly you are fighting or quarreling with somebody. So at that time, what changes do you think? Do you observe in your body? That your heart beats faster, your breathing rate increases, your body gets warm because the blood circulation is high, your BP gets high, your pupil, the size of the pupil dilates, right? You need more energy because you are fighting. That time glycogen is break down into glucose. So these all actions, why it is happening? Because the adrenaline hormone is secreted. So the adrenaline hormone is secreted to prepare or meet the emergency situation. This is why it is known as fight or flight hormone. So in sympathetic nervous system, when the body, it prepares the body for intense physical activity, and is often referred as fight or flight responsive. While the parasympathetic nervous system, it is opposite to it. When you get relaxed, when you get calmed down, then the changes which you observe in your body, that is due to the parasympathetic nervous system, right? Is slowly our blood pressure reaches to normal, our breathing rate comes to normal, breathing heartbeat comes to normal. Okay, you relax, your body gets in normal temperature. So this is why, because the parasympathetic, due to the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, as I told you, voluntary actions and involuntary actions. Now, voluntary actions are the actions which we do in conscious. As I told you, that which we do according to our will, our wish, right? And involuntary actions are the actions which is not under your will. You cannot control respiration. You cannot control digestion of food. You cannot control heartbeat, right? So these are the involuntary actions of our body: sweating, working of kidney. Now, what is reflex action? Reflex action is a quick automatic response to the change in environment that involves spinal cord. Now, reflex action. Reflex action is a quick automatic response against the stimulus. Let's take an example. If I suddenly throw one chalk on your body, what will you do? What will be your instant reaction? You will try to save yourself. There will be a body movement. That is your natural reflex. This is your reflex action, right? So the pathway which we follow through in the reflex action, this is known as reflex arc. The pathway through which reflex action occurs is known as reflex arc. Now let us look at this diagram. In this, see, you can see the hot object. So here are the receptors which is receiving the impulse that it is hot, right? It is burning, and as a result, the sensory neuron is, see through the red line, the sensory neuron is carrying an impulse from the receptor to the CNS, spinal cord, and again there is a relay neuron. Then motor neuron is bringing the impulse to the affected organ, where muscle contracts and withdraws, part being stimulated. As a result, in response, you remove your hand, you withdraw your hand. Now, cerebral reflex and spinal reflex. These are the type of reflexes. Now, a cerebral reflex or cranial reflex is one that controlled by one of the cranial nerve and tends to take place in the facial or head area. As I already told you, these are the reflexes which occur in the facial or head area. Okay, and spinal reflex are the reflex that involves only the spinal nerves and spinal cord. For example, take off the hand on touching a hot object. Now, how this muscle cause movement? Muscles are made up of muscle cells, muscular cells, right? Which have special proteins. This protein can change their arrangement. These proteins can change their arrangement on receiving message from brain. When they receive message from brain, when the receptor cell receive impulse from the brain, they change their arrangement. As a result, it contracts or expands. And this contraction and expansion can cause movement in body parts. Okay, this contraction and expansion cause movement in body parts. As a result, body response. Now, CNS. CNS is generally comprises of brain and spinal cord. So brain, we know it controls all the functions in the human body. Brain is surrounded by a skull, cranium, and the covering of the brain is known as meninges. Meninges. Okay, as I told you that the covering of the heart is pericardium, the covering of the lungs is pleura, and the covering of brain is meninges. So in meninges layer, meninges has three layers: dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater. Dura mater is the outermost layer and it is hard, tough. Arachnoid is a web cushion like structure. You can see this web cushion like structure. This is due to the arachnoid. And pia mater is the innermost layer of the meninges, and it composed of blood vessels and nerves. Now, there only cerebrospinal fluid lies, which acts as a shock absorber. which acts as a shock absorber. It protects the brain from external shocks. Like pericardial fluid prevents the means prevents protects the brain protects the heart from external shock. Pleural fluid protects the lungs from external shock. Similarly, cerebrospinal fluid protects the brain from external shocks. Now, human brain has three parts: forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. So now forebrain cerebrum. In this, the matter it is composed. The cerebrum is divided into two parts, two hemispheres known as cerebral hemispheres. Right. This cerebral hemisphere, the outer is gray matter and the inner region is known as white matter. The outer is grey matter and the inner region is white matter. The white matter consists of cell bodies, and whereas the grey matter consists of neurons. Okay, now the arrangement of white matter and grey matter in the spinal cord is opposite to the arrangement of brain. See, I am explaining. See, I can show you. See, in this case, this is gray matter in the spinal cord and this is white matter. In the spinal cord, the gray matter is inside and the white matter is outside. But in the brain, the white matter is inside and the gray matter is outside. Now, more the convulsions in the brain, the person is more intelligent. Why they are more intelligent? Because it can accommodate more nerve cells. More the convulsions, these are the convulsions, more the convulsion Guidi and Salke, more the foldings, more the person is intelligent, because it can accommodate more nerve cells. Clear? Now, this, as I told you, that cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, cerebral hemisphere. These are joined by corpus callosum. And cerebellum also has the same arrangement, but the cerebellum is also having the same arrangement, but the cerebellum hemispheres are joined by pons. So what is the function of cerebellum? It is the largest part of the brain. It is the most complex part of the brain. It helps in thinking, memory, sensation, movement, feelings, okay, planning, plotting, everything. And it is the seat for intelligence, and it controls all the voluntary actions. Midbrain it controls cerebral reflex like change in size of pupil, blinking of eyes. In hindbrain, there is pons, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. In hindbrain, what are the parts? Pons, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. Pons connects the cerebellum hemisphere. I am repeating myself. Pons connects the cerebellum hemisphere, whereas corpus callosum connects the cerebral hemisphere. Don't get confused. Pons connects cerebellum hemisphere. Your corpus callosum connects cerebral hemispheres. So hindbrain, it controls all involuntary organs, and pons is a regulate respiratory system. It relays signal from hindbrain to forebrain again. And cerebellum, it maintains the body posture. And why any alcoholic person feels clumsily, why they walk, if any person drinks alcohol, they walk clumsily. Why do they walk clumsily? Because due to the effect of alcohol, the cerebellum cannot maintain the body posture. Okay, as a result, they walk clumsily. It maintains the body posture, it balances our body and motion, picking an object. Now, medulla controls all involuntary actions like digestion, heartbeat, blood pressure, vomiting, saliva in mouth, swallowing, etc. Now, spinal cord. So, spinal cord is extended from medulla to downward, and it is enclosed in a bony structure called vertebral column. Or backbone, we can say. So, as I told you, in the cerebellum, the spinal cord arrangement is opposite to what they have in the brain. In spinal cord, the gray matter is inside and the white matter is outside. It carries messages between, what are the function of spinal cord? It carries message between brain and nerves, and it controls spinal reflexes. So this was all about the nervous system. I hope this video is clear. If you have any doubt, please do let me know so that I can clear your doubt. Please do watch the videos. You all are class 10 students, and till then, study at home, stay safe. Thank you.